Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the 1987 Supermod. I'm your host, Brad Drake, and this is my AWA save. Folks, thanks for coming back. Welcome to another edition here. Between last episode and now, I decided that we are going to go ahead and do another spot show. And this one we're most likely going to do in a high school gym in the Chicago area or maybe even Rockford. So I want to show you what I did. I thought about this between the two shows. And, I didn't do that first spot show right. That was an awfully big crowd and an awfully big venue for a spot show. That wasn't a proper indication. So I've decided how I'm going to redo spot shows, and I am going to do the intent as lesser, okay? The ticket pricing is going to be cheap. We're going to keep the hour and 30 minutes that we've used for the last one, and we're going to schedule these as specials, okay? Because we're not going to use these same things every year. And as a matter of fact, when the next calendar year begins, we'll most likely delete these and then start fresh. So, like I said, the intent has been dropped to lesser, which means we're going to draw a lesser crowd. The crowd is not going to expect our greatest wrestlers to be there, but we are going to have cheaper ticket pricing. So we'll see how it goes. So we're all booked. We're all set. We're going to go ahead and move forward here. And we have our card set. So I'm going to give you the rundown of the card. And today's spot show, we're going to have the opener is going to be Penny Mitchell versus Debbie Combs. Buddy Wolfe and Cactus Jack are going to face the top guns. Soldat Ustinov is getting some work in against DJ Peterson. Nick Kinichi is going to face the Crippler, Rip Oliver. Bobby Duncum and Sergeant Slaughter are going to have it out. And in the main event, the Assassin and Steve Olsonowski are going to face the Midnight Express for the World Tag Team title. Let's go ahead and go to the booking screen. Okay, obviously we're not going to run in the St. Paul Civic Center. Remember, we just left Wisconsin. We were up in Green Bay. And then we went ahead and ran in La Crosse. So now we're cruising back down for our regular tour date, which is going to be in Chicago. So we're going to go back to Great Lakes. And see, even though we're set for lesser than, we're still expecting 9,800 fans. That's not right. Let's make this realistic, okay? We're going to go 1,000 to 3,000, and let's see what that brings us here. Remember, I strive for realism, and the way I ran that the last time just wasn't realistic. So what we're looking for is a high school gym in the Chicago area, or we may even try to run Rockford. Rockford was also a really big town for the AWA. So Peoria Civic Center would be nice, but it's way south of Chicago. So if we were going to run a spot show in Peoria, we would probably do it after Chicago. So there's Providence High School. That's in New Lenox. The Rialto Square Theater. That's in Joliet. That's southwest of Chicago. We have the Sullivan Athletic Center here. Whitney Young High School Gym. So we have some really cool opportunities here. There's Brother Rice, which is located in Chicago. There's the Congress Theater, which is in Chicago, which is pretty cool. So let's go with Brother Rice. We're going to run out of Brother Rice High School here. You know why the attendance is so high? The attendance is so high because we have the tickets set for cheap. That's why. So we're going to sell out Brother Rice here, no problem. Obviously, we're going to sell out no matter what. I mean, we were expecting to get almost 10,000 people, and we're only using a 2,100 seat gym. But that's okay. We're going to run this realistically like a spot show. Spot shows were dirt cheap to go to because they were fundraisers for high schools. So look at this as a fundraiser for Brother Rice High School, and we're coming on pretty much with our B team as the roster for the show. So let's go ahead, and we are booked. Let me double check that we booked it. Yes. And let's look at our incidents. Enhancement talent Paul Dose is doing nice drawings. Tony Leone's actually here. Holy cow. Tony Leone is singing karaoke. And we got some protege work here. Very nice. Let's see who's absent. Nobody that we plan to use tonight, so that's okay. So let's go ahead and let's get this card booked. In our opener, we had Penny Mitchell. And we can change this to Chicago. Penny Mitchell versus Debbie Combs. The AWA actually did run at Brother Rice High School, so this is pretty accurate. Brother Rice, Windy City Wrestling also ran at Brother Rice. Windy City tried to run in Chicago areas where the AWA had already paved the way for them, so that's why that happened that way. So here's Mitchell versus Combs, and we're gonna have Debbie Combs go over. Our second match, yes, I know we used the Top Guns for our last spot show, but this spot show is going to be, doing these spot shows is going to be a really good way to get our undercards some experience and some talent. So I have, experience and to just get them ring work. So I have no issues with using DJ Peterson, the Top Guns, people like that frequently on these shows. So we're going to have Buddy Wolfe and Cactus Jack versus the Top Guns. The more time in the ring these guys get, the better. So there's Wolfe, and there's Cactus Jack, and then we're going to go to tag teams and the Top Guns. We're going to leave this one open-ended. It doesn't matter to me who wins. So let's double check the time because we're slightly different. It was a 14-minute, I was correct. So we're booked. Our next match is going to be Ustinov versus DJ Peterson. We're going to make sure DJ Peterson goes over here. I should have done these earlier. I should have started doing spot shows earlier. This keeps things interesting and gives us a whole other avenue of opportunity. We're not going to do it every week in the game week. Maybe we'll do it every second or third week. The Chicago area is so ripe, and Wisconsin and Minnesota is so ripe for spot shows because that is where the AWA did spot shows. So don't expect too many spot shows outside of when we travel to those areas. So Ustinov versus Peterson. And we're going to make sure Peterson gets the win. Nick Kinichi versus Rip Oliver. Rip Oliver is going to get the win here. This one's going to be 16 minutes. Rip Oliver needs to start tacking up wins. He's losing a lot to Jerry Lawler, even though he's got more momentum, which is surprising. We'll have Rip Oliver get the win. And then our semi-main here, which is a big match. This is a big-time match, Duncum versus Slaughter. We're going to make this one a double DQ. Neither one of these men is going to benefit from losing at this point, so we'll just make it a double DQ. Or a double countout. We'll make it a double countout. Very realistic. These two had a nice brawl going, and they both got counted out. Typical AWA finish, but still good stuff regardless. So we have in the main event, the Assassin and Olsonowski versus the Midnight Express. This one's going to go 25. It's going to be for the World Tag Team title. And again, we have the premium team, which is the Midnight Express, World Tag Team Champion team. And we have Assassin and Olsonowski who are tagging, on the tours here, not on television, but on the tours. So this one makes perfect sense for the main event of a spot show. And Randy Rose is going to go over. This one's going to be an epic. And of course, it's going to end with manager interference. So let's see what the problem is here. Bill Alfonso is doing too much reffing. Fair enough. Get that rectified. And it is. Okay, So we got an hour and 11 minutes here. It's almost a 2-hour show. Remember, we booked it for an hour and a half. So this is perfect. This is perfect for a spot show. We're getting people experience and getting people work that need to have experience and need to get work in. And this is easy money. It's a spot show. So it should turn a profit. Let's go ahead and start the show. All right, Debbie Combs gets the win. And nice. The Top Guns got the victory over Cactus Jack and Buddy Wolfe. Good. DJ, this is a decent score for these two. This is a really decent score. So, a nice 56 overall. Oliver and Kinichi got a little bit lower than what I hoped for with a 52. Now here we go again, the opposite. 50-49 and gets an overall of 52. All right, Duncum and Slaughter should save us here. Oliver gets inconsistency. Kanichi's inexperienced. How old is Nick Kanichi here? I'm going to have to check that. I don't remember how old he is. So I expect a big score with Duncum and Slaughter. And I don't know about the main event. So an 80 overall. Okay. Figured they would have done a little bit better than that, but that's okay. And then let's check out our main event here, folks. 79 overall, which is better than what I thought it was going to get. Olsonoski and Randy Rose dragged us down a bit. Let's see if there's any other takeaways here. Rose and Olsonowski don't have... Can't handle the slow build for the Epic, which I don't recall seeing this before when we use Epics with them versus the Midnight Rockers. That's a little strange. Randy Rose is fatigued. Imagine that. So we got a 79 overall. So hopefully our show scores an overall of a 72 or so, and that should still get us an improvement in this region. So let's go ahead and finish up. Let's see how we did. Okay, we got a 76 overall, but we got no bump up, which is surprising because the night before we got a bump up and we scored a lower score overall than this. So maybe we've already reached our max for our improvements, which is possible. Remember, we ran the 2 weeks of television already. We filmed the 2 weeks of television. So that makes sense. Folks, this is a solid, real deal spot show. So we sold 2,100 seats. It was cheap. So it's probably only a $10,000 house or so. I'm not exactly certain. I could look into the math. It does tell us. But this is good. Our guys got experience, need to get experience. We continue getting the AWA out there. We probably raise money for Brother Rice High School. And this is what a spot show is. This is exactly what a spot show is and how a spot show ran. So let's go ahead and finish up. Bring us back to our main screen. We'll see if anything exciting happened. Billy Kay. That's a lot of information on Billy Kay. I feel so much more educated on Billy Kay after watching that. Randy Bryant got injured. You know what? I like Randy Bryant. I think this guy had a good look. He was used as enhancement talent in Jim Crockett Promotions and also in Memphis. But I've seen his matches. He was in really good shape. And Randy Bryant had a good look. Maybe we will bring in Randy Bryant. He's working in Memphis. We have the deal with Memphis. Maybe we'll bring in Randy Bryant and start pushing him as a babyface light heavyweight. Maybe that could help us here. We'll have to see. So, Dr. Wagner Jr., very talented wrestler. I thought very highly of him. He's just getting started. He's only about 20. Yeah, he's 22. He's real young. Real young. He was the brother of Silver King and obviously the son of Dr. Wagner. I thought very highly of Dr. Wagner Jr. I thought he was good. Silver King was really good too. That's a shame what happened to him a few years ago when he passed away. So let's take a look at All American Wrestling. Wow, look at that main event. Ugh. Live event tour, Bundy versus Patera in a cage match. It's got an 88 overall. And look, they ran just where we ran, which was in Green Bay. Remember, this is the real touring schedule for the WWF too. Well, it is, but it isn't. The WWF actually ran an A, B, and C card each night. So we are only running one card. We're not running multiple tour shows like the WWF really did. So it's as realistic as I could possibly make it under the conditions of the game. Roger Kirby's going to retire. How old is Roger Kirby here? 47? Nature Boy Roger Kirby. Roger Kirby had a lot of success. I just went through. He's another one that held titles all over the place. And as I was editing for version 7, there's quite a few more titles that he held. Roger Kirby was a good wrestler. A real good wrestler. All right, this day in history, folks. November 29th, which is Leap Day. November 29th. November 29th, 1984. We're actually running here on March 1st, but just for the heck of it, for leap year, it's always fun to do leap year stuff. In 1984, Jim Crockett Promotions ran in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, at the Memorial Coliseum. It was a television taping. Ric Flair defeated Dick Slater for the World Heavyweight title. Greg Valentine and Wahoo McDaniel faced the Road Warriors. Jimmy Valiant faced the Great Kabuki. Mark Youngblood and Jay Youngblood beat Gary Royal and Barry Orton. Angela Mosca Jr. beat Ivan Koloff. Brickhouse Brown beat Ernie Ladd. Dick Slater beat Gene Legion. Stan Hansen beat Bret Hart. Bret Hart was on a TV taping for Jim Crockett Promotions, which in 1984 was still Mid-Atlantic Championship Wrestling. So look at that. Bret Hart showing up on Mid-Atlantic Championship Wrestling as enhancement talent. And Tully Blanchard beat Keith Larson. Keith Larson was also known as he's the younger brother of Don Kernodle, Rocky Kernodle, also known as Keith Larson. So there we go on the history corner, folks, for February 29th, 1984. I mistakenly thought that this was a leap year and this show would air on the 29th, but it won't. It's actually airing on March 1st. But since I already did the history, I did the the work for our history corner, that's our history corner for the day, folks. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in. That does it here for this spot show. We'll be back with Friday, week 2, October 1987. And we're going to be in Chicago for a big show at the UIC Pavilion. We're going to have that show headlined by Scott Hall and Larry Zbyszko. If you haven't already, folks, and you would like this mod, please go to www.braddrake.net/contact. Drop me a line. I'll be more than happy to send you over the link to the Google Drive page where you can download not only the database, but also the picture pack. Also, if you haven't done so already, please give us a like. Share this video with your friends. Help us spread the word. We grow every day, and through you, we can grow even further. And also, please, subscribe. Subscribe to the channel. You'll get notifications when our fresh videos are released every single day. And last but not least, folks, join us on Facebook, facebook.com/groups/1987supermod. That's facebook.com/groups/1987supermod. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in, and we'll see you back next time for our tour date.